Chapter 1, The Creation. Begin all acts and thinking by using El Kalun, the All. Tablet 6, The Origin of the Moon. 19 times 3 equals 57. Lo, the creation of the planet we call the moon today. You may ask, why are you calling the moon a planet? That is because that's exactly what it is. Let's see. The word planet means a non-luminous celestial body larger than an asteroid or a comet, illuminated by light from a star, such as the sun, around which it revolves. From the Middle English, from Old French planete, from Late Latin planeta, from Greek planetes, variant from planes, planet, from planaste meaning to wander. You shall see how the moon did just that, wandered off into space to become that which is called the moon today, or the month. It came about because of a Maldekian fighter ship from the Ninga fleet called the South Wind. The South Wind came crashing down into the planet Tiamat with plutonium, a highly explosive weapon. The word moon comes from the word monos, who was the Greek deity of sarcasm and pain, for the hurt that Luna felt, because he wanted to rule all of the stars of the heaven and earth, and his sarcasm in dealing with the Deniers. Luna brought his plea as to his wish to rule the sun, moon and stars, and was voted down by the Yagigi. In his rejection because of his sarcasm, he became a deity amongst the Euro-Americans, who are some descendants of the Greeks and Romans. They will tell you that this name originated with them. However, the name Moon was adopted from the ancient Egyptian deity Monthu, the deity of Thebes, who fell into disfavor with the mortals due to royal politicking during the 11th dynasty. He was a lunar deity, where the Greeks stole their concept from. The planet Earth key was known as Tiamat. This explosion created what is called today the Grand Canyon, and gave birth to another small planet in its own orbit, rotating around the newly formed planet Key. This newly formed planet was named Sheshki, meaning celestial deity who protects Earth Key, now called the Moon, which created the lunar orbit around the planet Key. It is now 283,900 miles from Earth. The Moon is now a bleak piece of the planet Earth. So with most of the waters dried on the Moon, because its waters are on the Earth, it keeps pulling on the waters of this planet. The Moon was not blasted enough to make a complete turn by itself while rotating around the planet Earth. Therefore you never see the other side, before it is again entering into the shade side of the planet Earth. There is a base called the Moon Base 12 up there. You just can't see it, and they don't want you to know about it. Human beings are living in dome homes, and there are big laboratories for mining on the Moon. So you have the evening tide pulling on the waters of the planet Earth. Without this process of water, all the vegetation would die. Sheshki was first covered with life and vegetation, just like Earth today. For instance, there are even certain radioactive elements found deep in the Earth that are found on the crust of the Moon. And this once being a thought of an irreality has now been confirmed by scientists on March the 5th, 1998, that there is ice on the Moon. There are pockets of ice crystals that have been found beneath the lunar surface by a robot survey spacecraft. The Lunar Prospector's neutron spectrometer sent data back indicating the presence of significant amounts of hydrogen distributed in the loose lunar soil at the bottom of the polar craters. The ice was found in the lunar South Pole as well as in the craters of the North Pole. All life died on Sheshki because of the explosion of a warship that came from planet Maldek that got caught up in the gravitational pull of Nibiru and crashed into the planet Tiamat and caused the breaking away of a moon called Sheshki. The female's menstrual cycle is approximately a 29.5-day cycle, which coincides with the 4 phases of the moon, making her symbol the square, while the male symbol being the sun is a circle. The 4 quarters start from full to 3/4, or from 3/4 to a half, or from a half to a full moon again. A secret name of the moon is Halal, meaning the crescent, a symbol of Diana, who is also called Sin, symbol of Baphomet, from the French Bahamut for Mohammedan, the 5-pointed interlocking inverted star. The movement of the moon each cycle, 12 each year, that is 3 sets of 4 phases, and is the symbol of the 5 P's, which are the roots of their laws: polytheism, politics, psychology, philosophy, and penal. This moon called Sheski, or Kama by the Mohammedans, is 2,160 miles, or about 1/3 the size of the planet Earth, which is 7,926 miles, and is composed basically of the same minerals that have been analysed from rocks brought back from the moon and then compared to those on the planet Earth. The moon still has erupting volcanoes on it. The bases have been discovered on the moon to date. They were reactivated and are being used to mine moon minerals. Moon data. Diameter equals 2,126 miles. Distance from Tiamat equals 238,900 miles. The moon makes one complete orbit around Tiamat every 27.33 Earth days. It spins on its own axis 27.33 Earth days. Some say every 27.32 Earth days. The moon consists of 4 quarters. First quarter new moon, last quarter full moon. It is divided by 2 crescents and 2 gibbous stages called phases. El-Gadash Quran, the Holy Quran, speaks clearly of the splitting away of Al-Qamar, the moon, from Al-Ard, Earth. It says in its 37th degree that has been changed to the 54th degree, verses 1 and 2. The hour is coming close and the moon is split asunder, and if they see a sign, they turn away and they say, it is but a form of magic. The true Muslims are to have faith according to one of their own, Al-Bazawi. When those in doubt asked Muhammad for a sign, the moon appeared to split in 2. It is believed by them also that the last day will be noted by the moon's eclipse, and they are to prostrate twice. This is written in the 31st degree that has been changed to the 75th degree, verses 8 through 10. And the moon is eclipsed, and the sun and the moon are gathered together. These days you see the sun and the moon are together in midday, and the Enoshites shall say on that day, where is the place to escape? Muhammad in El's Holy Quran swears by it 3 times, once in the 4th degree that has been changed to the 74th degree, verses 32 through 39. Nevertheless, and the moon in the shadow hour period when it passes, and the early daytime hour when it appears, surely it, hell, is one of the biggest calamities, a warning to the mortals in skin, to those of you who will to go forward, progress in agreeableness, follow the rights of Abraham or Ibrahim, or remain behind. Stay in disagreeableness. Follow rights other than Abraham's rights. Every nafs spirit person is held in pledge for that which it has earned, except for the companions of the right hand, the true Muslims, peaceful ones, and their seed, Halil Bayt. The true Muslims, peaceful ones, and their seed, the Halil Bayt. This is the Ansarullah, the only Muslims who strive for pristine purity. Again, Muhammad swears in the 83rd degree, which has changed to the 84th degree, verses 16 to 19. So nevertheless, I swear by the red glow of the sun when it darkens, and the shadow hour period, and when it gathers together shrouds, and the moon when it becomes full, that you shall most certainly pass from plane to plane, life after death. And the 26th degree, now changed to the 91st, verses 1 through 10 says, and the sun in its radiance, and the moon when it follows after it, and the daytime afternoon when it is brightened by it, and by the shadow hour period when it screens it, and the sky and what built it, and the planet earth and what landscaped it, and the spirit person and what perfected it. So he inspired it, the spirit to overstand its wickedness, and its trembling at the mentioned. He who purifies it his spirit has certainly become prosperous, and certainly he who buries it his spirit has certainly failed. The crescent moon holds such great meaning to them. That is their symbol. The story of Luna. The moon as you know it is in its latter state. It was once a part of an enormous planet Tiamat 24 billion years ago. Before it broke off 11 billion years ago, and before that it belonged to an even greater planet called Tiwawat. Before the planet Tiwawat was blown away by a crazy scientist by the name of Luna in an attempt to rule the whole planet. Luna's attempt to explode the whole planet Tiwawat caused a breaking away of the moon called Kingu, or Luna, meaning great emissary, which happened 66 billion years ago. He placed a bomb called Ballast, which was made from plutonium that came from his original home in Pluto, and placed it in Shambhala, which was then called Escherah. Plutonium's name was derived from the planet Pluto. It has a radioactive chemical element and bears the symbol Pu. Its atomic number is 94 and its atomic weight is 239.13. Plutonium is one of the main elements used in nuclear weapons. In the center of the planet Earth is a long 30-mile tube due to the plutonium bomb. When Kingu the moon broke away, Luna himself was on that part. Luna or Lunar wanted to rule the sun, moon and all the stars. He only ruled the lower half of the planet Tiwawat that you call Earth today. He equaled in power with the ruler of the upper half. However, he wanted to rule the whole planet. He brought his request before the Council of Deniers and was rejected by the Igigis because of his sarcasm, which is why he became known as Monos, deity of sarcasm and pain. His rejection angered him, and he decided to blow up the planet Tiwawat. Luna is an old deity who was disagreeable and ruled the planet Kingu before he died, and its waters dried up, due to it being thrown off into its own orbit by Nibiru. He was the deity of the moon, Kingu also called Luna, and his intentions were evil. Luna lived and ruled Kingu 66 billion years ago after it broke away from Tiwawat, the original Earth, which came with the original creation of this solar system that exploded from the Milky Way. The Milky Way was formed from a massive sun called Sol, collapsing and exploding outward. Then the Milky Way exploded again and gave birth to our present-day sun called Shamus, or Helios, which is 93 billion years old. Before this sun called Shamus became a ball of gas containing hydrogen and helium, it was an active planet called Om, containing all of the planet's moons and satellites which make up this solar system. The sun was one tremendous mass, a planet called Om. The solar system was one of 19 planets that surrounded a more massive sun called Sol. Sol was named after its original ruler Sal or Sol, whose wife was named Arena. Their combined rulership gives you the name Salarina, shortened to Solar. The massive sun Sol collapsed and exploded outwards, and Om got caught up in the gravitational pull of Sol, and it was exploded and gave birth to your sun Shamus. All 19 of the planets were hurled off into space and exploded to create 19 galaxies in space and beyond. Galaxies are recorded as Population 1, Population 2, Population 3 and Population 4 and on. Population 1 galaxies are based on their age, are from hundreds of thousands of years old to 25 billion years old. Population 2 is from 25 billion years old to 100 billion years old, and Population 3 from 1 trillion to 25 trillion. Population 4 is from 25 trillion to 100 trillion and on. The Milky Way, from the Latin via, way, and lactea, milky, which is the 18th galaxy, has taken its name from the Greek sea nymph Galatea, from the Middle English Galaxy, the Milky Way, from late Latin Galaxius, from Greek milky, from Gala, galact, meaning milk. This Milky Way galaxy exploded again to create the present solar system. The new heaven and new earth will reveal a second and third sun. Yet at this point you have one sun called Shamus or Helios, and 10 planets called 1 Mercury, 2 Venus, 3 Earth, 4 Mars, 5 Jupiter, 6 Saturn, 7 Titan, 8 Uranus, 9 Neptune, 10 Pluto, and on the outside the 11th planet being Maldek, and also Planet X, another name for the 12th planet. When you include the Sun and the Moon as planets, it becomes Nibiru. This was the making of the 18th galaxy, ruled by the signs of the zodiac called solar biology. This all took place 76 trillion years ago. It's called the birth of the universe from triple darkness. Luna wanted to rule the whole universe, so he used over 30 million tons of atomic energy to blow up Tiwawat, thinking that it would shift the orbit of the planets and cause a planetary collapse or star holocaust. He was originally a humanoid type Maldek from Gaga Pluto, who lived on Tiwawat after they had crashed down, and he tried to rule all the beings on Earth. The Maldekians and their slaves, the troglodytes, also known as the Masmukia, have been using the vast seas of the planet Earth for billions of years as a home base under the Bermuda Triangle, also called the Angel's Triangle. Luna was originally from Gaga, which was later called Pluto or Platoon, a planet that was also occupied by the Maldecians or Troglodytes, as well as Hindus, who resided on Pluto after they left their planet Nirvana and mixed with the Maldecians, of which Luna was a product of. These beings also lived on planets like Titan, Europa and Earth that are in the Milky Way galaxy. Also other planets, such as the bright stars Betelgeuse and Rigel and many others, all are part of the six-star constellation Orion, also called Uranus and Cassiel, which is held up by the Sirius star constellation, a star in the constellation Canis Minor, the brightest star in the sky, approximately 8.6 light years distant from Earth, also called the dog star Sothis, from Latin Sirius, from Greek Sirios, burning. Canis Major and Canis Minor are the two dog stars of Orion the Hunter, a nearby constellation containing the star Betelgeuse, with which Sirius and Procyon together form an equilateral triangle. The Orion constellation is located on the celestial equator east of Taurus. It is an oblong configuration with three stars in a line near its center in the Orion's belt called the nebula. It is represented on pictorial charts as the figure of Orion. It was called Sahu, the soul of Usia Osiris. The three bright stars represent his belt. 1. Al-Natak, 2. Al-Nilam, 3. Mintaka. This is the home of the agreeable Anunnaki or Elohim, and the disagreeable four winds, which make up 1. Betelgeuse, 2. Bellatrix, 3. Rigel, 4. Safe. Under the watchful eye of Sept, also called Sirius and Sothis, where Nibiru took residence. There is also 3 fainter stars aligned south of the belt. Alpha A Uranus, or Betelgeuse, is located in the left corner of the oblong, which corresponds to Orion's shoulder. Beta B Uranus, or Rigel, is diagonally opposed to Betelgeuse. A nebula surrounding the 3 stars marking Orion's sword is one of the most conspicuous bright nebulas in the heavens. Luna's daughter was also called Luna, and his wife was called Hyperion. Luna also had a daughter named Persephone, and she married Pluto, also known as Hades, a son of Kronos and Rhea, ruler of the underworld. Rhea was from Uranus, which was the name of the ruler of that planet, and his wife Gaia, mother of Poseidon. Gaia was ruler of Titan, where there were great cyclopses, which are any of the race of one-eyed giants who reputedly descended from Titan, inhabiting the island of Sicily. From the Latin, from the Greek kuklos meaning circle eye. There were also Furies, which were the 3 terrible winged goddesses with serpentine hair, Alecto, Megara, and Tisiphon, who pursued and punished evildoers of unavenged crimes. From the Middle English Fury, from Old French, from Latin Furia, from furiae, meaning to rage, and also there were giants, meaning a person or thing of great size. From Middle English, from French jaunt, from Vulgar Latin gagus, from Latin gigas, from the Greek gigas. These were the rulers in this solar system, after and before the crash of Nibiru's winds into Tiamat. Yes, there were giants in the earth before Cadmon Adam, the Zamzamims meaning plotters, the Emims meaning terrors, the Philistines meaning immigrants, and the Rephaims meaning healers. With the wind ships of the Maldecians, also known as the Vulcans, when trillions were billions, and billions were millions, and millions were thousands. This is in accordance to the motion of your planet around Apsu the sun, and how far your planet was from it. So the moon as a satellite of the planet Earth has 3 birth date records. 11 billion, it breaks off from the planet Tiamat Earth. 24 billion, the recreation of the planet Earth, and 76 trillion, the original creation of the entire universe. Just as the conception of a mortal goes through 3 phases to birth, that which is declared the moon today had went through 3 separate periods in its path to becoming what it is.